everybody. Welcome back. It's another episode of Tell Me More with me, Tony Moore. I hope you guys have enjoyed my previous interviews today. I got a chance to sit down with Darrell Anthony, who is the creator, producer, and actor in Pride the Series on Amazon Prime. Then I had a chance to sit down with Jamal Sims, who's world-renowned choreographer and director, to talk about his film When the Beat Drops, RuPaul's Drag Race Live, and his career since he started at 17. Now, I am super excited. I get to sit down and chat with... Growing up, this was my all-time favorite cartoon, Jim and the Holograms, and I get to talk to Samantha Newark, who lent her voice to the character of Jim and Jerrica Benton. So, we are going to talk all things Jim. It's going to be truly outrageous, and I can't wait to chit-chat with her. All right, I'm going to add her into the call now so that we can talk. I literally haven't seen her in like 5 years since we did Project Drag. Oh, there she is.
Hi, is it working? Can you hear
It's
me?
working. How are you?
Synergy, is it working?
Show over Synergy. I can't tell you how many times as a kid I would like secretly like go to my room and I had an earring and I would go, show's over Synergy, and I would stand there. Nothing would happen, but I would try.
Ah, you are so cute. Hello,
So,
everybody.
How are you? How's everything
I'm doing
been?
good. I'm actually doing really well. I hope
good.
you are doing really well. It's a crazy time, but
Yeah.
honestly, I feel kind of blessed to have some downtime because I was like, zoom, zoom, on a plane, going here, going there, which I love to do. But suddenly it's all like, oh my gosh, wow, here we all are. And so, yeah, I'm making the best of it. I'm trying to stay really positive. So, so far, so good.
Yes. Oh, good.
Yes.
Yes. Keep that positive energy up. And you know what? Sometimes you just have to do what's best for you. Like, don't feel like you have to like overwork yourself or do anything. You just do what's best for you.
Well, I have to say, this is the first time I've like put on makeup and gotten out of my like night day clothes in a while. So thank you, Tony, for that. I'm sure everybody can relate. It's like, oh my God, I don't have to be anywhere. This is amazing. I can just be in my, I mean, I'm not literally hanging out in my pajamas, but clothes. You know, I don't have to put the face on and do the hair, but I was kind of excited to like get a little chassed up tonight. Just at least curl my hair a little bit. So.
Well, I have to say, and I don't know if I told you this, but I was super excited and so happy when I reached out to you about doing Project Drag when I worked at
Oh my gosh.
And we had the Gym and the Holograms challenge, and
that was wickedly awesome.
Yeah, and I was
so good.
I was like, oh my gosh, she said yes. Oh my gosh, she's coming. This is like, and I was super excited. I know some of the queens were super excited, and I was just like, if you guys don't know Jim and the Holograms, like you have to go and watch. I still watch Jim and the Holograms like to this day.
Gosh. You have to tell the audience what the drag queen, what this night was about, because I was in town to do San Diego Comic Con, and I had a few other things that I was doing, and then I got this epic invitation from you, and I was like, oh my God.
So what it was, I at the time
I got to meet Morgan McMichaels that night. Like we were co-judges.
Yes. She was gagging the entire time.
I love her, by the way. I love her.
Who doesn't?
Just like so amazing.
But it was Project Drag, which is our amateur drag queen contest.
Yes.
And it's very a la RuPaul's Drag Race.
Yes,
except
in WeHo.
In West Hollywood.
Yes.
And so the challenge was the queens had to portray Jim and the Holograms, but create an additional hologram.
Yes.
And so it was great to see what the queens came up with. Their mixes were amazing. It included the songs and also some of the dialogue from the show. It was
epic.
a time.
It was epic. And yeah, I couldn't even believe what I'd walked into. It was so amazing.
Yeah.
I have pictures on my website, SamanthaNewark.com. If you scroll down, it's 2016 or 15, 16, something like that.
2015. Yeah.
15, God, where does the time go?
Yeah.
Yeah, but I've got some amazing pictures from the night, and
Oh.
just the queens with their hair, like,
Yeah.
it was a lot to live up to. I was like, oh my God, I'm going into Queenland, and I'm Jem. Like, how do I do this? They're going to be amazing, because they're like Jem to the like 1,000th power, you know?
Yeah,
So so
and I even got in on the action. I dressed up as Rio that night
Rio,
and had my
you
purple
did.
hair and my
So
little
good.
jacket outfit and stuff.
It was so good. You were representing.
Well, I want to talk to you just about like that time period and just starting out with it. Like, how did Jim and you even come about? Like, did you just get an audition for it, or did you?
Yeah, I did. I was with a theatrical commercial agency, and one of my agents at the big agency, she left and started Arlene Thornton Associates, which was a smaller boutique agency,
Yeah.
and she opened a voiceover department. And
Mhm.
she just started to send me out on stuff, and it was the first animated anything that I'd ever auditioned for.
Yeah.
And I think I'd booked a public service announcement, like a PSA type of thing,
Yeah.
before then, and I just got thrown in the deep end. I really did. I didn't. Who knew? Who
Yeah.
knew? I'm still kind of like, what happened? How did this even happen?
Yeah.
It was one of like at the time I was auditioning for a million soap operas, and I was like, there's a screen test of me somewhere from Days of Our Lives, because I was like down to the last two for Days of Our Lives back in the day.
Shut up. Okay,
Yes.
wait. So, because you know I'm a huge fan of Days of Our Lives.
I
Had
didn't know
no
that.
idea that
Yeah.
you auditioned for. Do you know what
Yes.
character it was?
So I remember the girl's name was Lisa Tressel that booked it. But if I can even, her boyfriend was Oliver,
Uh-huh.
and I don't even remember her name, but Lisa Tressel was the actress. So if anybody can Google it right now, Google
Okay.
Lisa Tressel, Days of Our Lives. And
James
that
Lott
was,
Jr., who's a friend of mine, who is like my Days of Our Lives historian. James,
yes.
in this room, get on that in the comments.
Yes.
Let me know who it is, and then we'll revisit. Okay.
Yes. So it was
Didn't
her
know
and
that.
I. We were like, yeah. And I screen tested. It was terrifying at the time. I'd never done a screen test for anything. And I think I went to was it NBC? It's an NBC show. Yeah. And
Yeah.
years later, it was weird. Years and years later, being in the voiceover world, I started doing promos for Days of Our Lives. And I was like, and I was a big fan at that point myself, because I
Yeah.
had to watch the show to kind of get acclimated with everything. So I'd watched it for a while. I was a big fan of Bo and Hope, and
Yeah. Oh,
the whole
my
thing.
friend James said that it was Melissa who
Melissa.
ended up being Maggie's daughter,
Yes.
played by Suzanne Rogers.
Okay. Well, no, Lisa Tressel was the actress that ended up booking it. So I'm.
Yeah, and then
Yeah.
and Suzanne Rogers plays Maggie.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, Melissa. That rings a bell. That rings
Yeah.
a bell. It's been a lot
Yeah.
of years.
Yeah.
I think I was like 14 or 15. I was pretty young.
Oh my
That
God.
was a long time ago. Yeah.
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 And so, like, with that, did you ever imagine that going into that audition for this animated series that years
Like,
later
this
it would
would happen?
still be such a phenomenon
No.
and that it would impact so many people?
No, none of us had any idea. Like, I think with the Comic-Con world now going so mainstream,
Yeah.
now that may be goals for shows to be able to be in that realm celebrated, like Gem is, and like some
Yeah.
of these amazing 80s cartoons. But back in the day, I don't even remember there being that. So we were just
Yeah.
thrilled that it was on television. I had no concept. I don't remember at the time thinking, oh my gosh, my voice is going out to millions of people. I don't know why I
Yeah.
didn't think about it, but I didn't. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm working. I moved out of my parents' house for the first time. I got my own apartment. I got my
Wow.
own car. It was the journey into my independence. Like, Jem gave me that Jem literally gave me that. So that's what I was focused on. I was like, oh my gosh, I have my own money and I can get my own place. And, you know, so that's what I was remember thinking about at the time. Yeah.
When you did the voice of Jim, did you tweak your voice in any way for the character, or what, is it just you and how like?
I remember there wasn't much of a variation. Obviously, you had to suspend your disbelief that it was this, you know, the same person. But I think I've always kind of said that Jerica was a lot more angst-ridden because she had so much responsibility. Wait, I'm running a record label, and I have to deal with the misfits, and I am a foster mother. I have to take care of the Starlight Girls. Like, what's happening? Like, it's a lot.
And by the way, I touch my earring and say Showtime Synergy, and now I'm a rock star.
Now I'm a rock star, and I have to keep the secret from all of these people, even my boyfriend. Like, she was under a lot. She was under a lot of stress. Like, Jem was always like, "I'm here to let's throw a benefit concert." Like, she was she got to be that, you know. But Jerica, I always felt had a lot more angst and anxiety than Jem did, obviously. Even though Jem got into some crazy situations where she was like, let me grab a hang glider and get out of here because the misfits are coming, you know?
It's so funny because when you watch it as a kid, you believe the world, right? And then when you watch it as an adult, you think, why were Jem and the Holograms and the Misfits fighting? Because they aren't even the same genre of music.
Right, but they just had to be on top, and like there was no room for like we're the edgy pop rock group, you know. Different genre. They didn't care. They just destroyed Jem. That was their goal.
So the recording sessions, were all of you in the room at the same time?
Yeah, we got to record ensemble. Which they don't do a lot of today. You know, a lot of it is literally, so everybody has a home studio. So you are literally phoning it in, which was my experience on most of the commercials and things that I would do. There's like a phone patch if you record. But anyway, we recorded some ensemble, and we got to be in the small studio, Wally Burr Studios in Burbank, on Hollywood Way. And oh my God, so much history in that place. Like, so much animation went on in that studio, not just Jem, but Transformers and just so much stuff. Incredibly iconic, tiny, strange, like nondescript place. You would never know. It's a real estate company right now. But we would share mics because we had to. There wasn't enough room, and so we'd be behind the mics, and then there would be the glass, and there would be the recording console. On the other side of the glass would be Wally Burr, the director, and sometimes a producer and an engineer, and that was pretty much it. So, did
you see the drawing of Jem and Jerica before you started recording?
Yeah, I remember when I went into audition, they had photocopies of, you know, what looked like photocopies of animation cells, basically, with what they looked like with their huge 80s hair. And I remember auditioning for a bunch of different characters.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Like they said, I don't even remember because the only audition sides that I kept were Jem's. Which is very weird. I didn't keep any of the others, but I probably auditioned for Kimber, probably all of the Holograms. My type, you know, I wasn't so, you know, I could play a bad girl if I needed to, but I was more suited for the good girls. It played better. So Was there ever another character that you wish you could lend your voice to as well? Yeah, I remember at the time when Louise Dorsey was hired for Jeddah, because I was born and raised in England and I had used my British accent for different voiceover jobs. I was like, I want to do that. You know, I remember but they were like, Sam, because you could only do 2 roles, and I was already doing Jem and Jerica. Technically, they were 2. How SAG broke it down. So, but I love Louise. Like, there's no shade with Louise at all. But I just remember at the time, like, I bloody well could do that because I'm English. I could do that, but whoops. But yeah, that was the only thing. But everybody was so fantastic. Like I
Yeah.
couldn't imagine anybody else playing the roles that they did, because everybody was. I just got to work with like the most amazing voice actors. I really did.
Yeah. Well, and I know you're a singer-songwriter as well.
Yeah.
And of course, you were the speaking voice of
Yeah.
Jim and Erica, and then Britta Phillips was the singing voice
Yeah.
for Jim. Was there ever a moment where you were like, oh man, I wish I could sing too? You know, like
Well, that was initially I even wrote on my audition size, must talk to Arlene about doing the singing for Jem, because I just figured it was they would soon be auditioning for the singing voices. But then when I talked to my agent, she was like, no, actually what they've done is they are matching your speaking. All the singing is already a big machine in New York, and they're trying to find the speaking voices to match the singing voices. But they didn't tell us that when they were auditioning. They just told me initially, you're auditioning for this girl. She's a singer. She's a rock star with a secret identity and all of this stuff. So, so that's why I was like initially very excited because I sing.
Yeah.
But then I found out that's not the way it was, you know, just what I told you. So
Yeah.
I've often said 2 female singer-songwriters, voice actors got to do what they love for a living on the show. So Britta did. I still get chills when I listen to the theme song. It still gives me chills. She's phenomenal.
Yeah.
So,
And your voices really do match very well, because I had no idea until you told me when I met you.
Oh my
like,
gosh.
I'm the speaking voice, and I was like.
Right. You were like, wait, what?
I was like, wait, you're not singing? She's like, you're like, no, that's Britta Phillips. I'm the speaking voice. And literally for 2 seconds, I was like,
you're like, wait.
because like the intonation, the sound of the voice, everything sounds just alike. And I was like,
that's so cool.
Like,
Great, good casting, right?
Yeah, that was really good.
Yeah.
Because what I also loved about the show was the music as well. Like, I can go through and still name and sing.
So what's your favorite song? Well, I mean, there's so many, but like what comes to mind?
The first one that comes to mind is Deception.
Deception. How long? Yeah, that's so good.
Yeah, I like that one. And I like Time Is Running Out.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Time is running out. Like,
time is running out.
Like, secretly, low key, whenever I'm running late, that song plays in my head as I'm like trying to get myself together.
Right.
Yeah. And Twilight in Paris.
I love Twilight in Paris. Yeah, and only the beginning, because it has such a great build up. It's so exciting. It's such I love it so much. It's one of my favorites. Yeah.
Would you ever? Because I mean, I don't think you've done this. Would you ever do like a cover album of like the Jim songs?
No, you know, I'm super respectful of Britta's territory, and I wouldn't want to infringe on that at all. Like she is the singing voice of Jem, and she's fantastic, and plus there's like huge copyright shenanigans with the music. It's really strange. I don't quite understand the whole thing, but you know, that's a whole other thing that I'm not really clear about. But music is kind of locked up somehow, which sucks.
Yeah, it's like, release it. It's 2020.
I know. There's so many bootlegs, and there's actually an amazing fan in Canada named Garth Jensen. If you tune in a little late, he does these remixes that are so good. Like dance remix of the original songs, and they're so good. They're hilarious and they're fantastic. And he's had me come in and do voiceover, like Rio Riot, you know, and they'll like you'll put them in, and it's hilarious. Yeah.
So someone just mentioned Getting Down to Business is another one of their.
Yes.
Yes.
It's time we get started. Get down to business. Yeah.
What was your favorite episode? Do you have a favorite episode?
I love different episodes for different reasons. Like some of the episodes I love because Patricia, the voice of Pizzazz, like just kills me. She's so funny, and some of them where she's just losing it. I think there's an episode where we're trying to rescue a ski lodge that's in financial trouble.
Yes.
And the misfits, and I don't know, some of her lines in that are just, she just makes me laugh so hard. Yeah. And then I really loved Out of the Past. I thought it was beautifully done because Jem really delved into some pretty hardcore subject matters, and this was the death of a parent. The death of Jerica and Kimber's mom, and I got to play like 10-year-old Jerica, which was wonderful. It was wonderful to be able to have some great, so much of Jem is super campy and fun and like soap opera ridiculous and that all the things we love about it. But then there are these really poignant episodes which make you cry, So I really enjoyed working on that one very much.
Yeah. Now that you mention it, it was some heavy hitting stuff, like going into it, like, dealing with the death of her dad, and now being inherited this company and, and now all this secret, like, hologram synergy that he's been working on and then the Starlight House with the foster kids. Like, it was a lot.
It's a lot. It's an epic world to delve into Jem. Like, people don't expect it. They're always like, I have no idea. And you're like, yeah. They didn't talk down to kids back then. It's like, here's this incredible world, And, of course, some of it's campy. But there was a lot of things that went over kids' heads. So many people still binge watch it to this day, because there's a lot of stuff for adults that's so enjoyable.
Yeah. Listen, if I can't find it online, I have my season 1 and season 2 on DVD.
Oh, that's awesome.
Somewhere. Yeah. So
it's on Tubi now. It's on Tubi on the Roku. TUBI. It's a streaming channel. Yeah. They just picked it up. So.
Because I actually just looked for it on Netflix, and I was like, why doesn't Netflix have this? Netflix has everything.
Yes.
But it's good to know. Yeah.
They took it down.
That was, they did around the time, and then right before the movie came out is when I think they took it down.
Yeah.
Which you were in. You had a role in. Like, how was that to kind of be a part of the film now?
Looking back, when I found out they were doing a movie, I was like, it's about time. Oh my gosh, so I was excited. Everybody was excited. And thank God I checked my Twitter messages, because John Chu had private messaged me on Twitter. I was like hardly ever on there. And then for some reason I checked it and I was like, what?
Yeah.
So of course I said yes, because, I'm not going to say no to a Jem remake. And it was an incredible day on the set. I got to watch the montage scene be filmed, of course, with Juliette, like watching Juliette Lewis work all day. I was like, oh my gosh, is this really happening? Like, what?
Yeah.
And I remember driving my little car up to the studio where it was shot, and seeing the trailers of like Aubrey Peoples' trailer and Stephanie Scott's and everything, but it didn't say their names. It said Aja, Sheena, Kimber, Jerica. I was like, oh my gosh. It was just moments like that brought me so much joy, because I know how much this show has meant to so many people for so many years. And I just was like, somebody pinch me. This is really bananas that this is happening. And I know the film wasn't what the fans wanted, and I understand. And there wasn't enough that was connected to the original, and the trailer was bad, so it didn't show anything that was related. And I remember I spent the next few months until the movie came out, because I toured the Misfits set. John Chu walked me through it, because I remember asking him when I was there shooting that day. I said, are there going to be Misfits? And he's like, you can't have Jem without the Misfits. That's what he told me. And I was like, oh my God. He said, we'll walk you through the set. And I was so excited. But then when the trailer came out, I wasn't allowed to say anything, because I was under a non-disclosure. Yeah. So I saw all these people saying there are no Misfits, and there's no Gem Star earrings, and there's no hologram technology. And I was like, I couldn't say anything because I watched this hate train start to, gain momentum.
Yeah.
So, yeah. It was.
I think because I still haven't watched it yet. Because because
It's going to be on Netflix this month, so there you go.
yeah. Well, for me, like the whole fantasy of the original story of Jim and everything, and I was super excited when I heard about the movie, and then like many fans, I felt a disconnect because I was like, wait, this isn't the story, and I get that they modernized it, but I was like, but if you're gonna do Jim and the Holograms, like the story is already there, you just have to, bring it to life, and so for that reason, I was like, nope, I'm not watching.
Nope. You and a lot of people, yeah.
Yeah.
It was so awkward. I've never been through anything so awkward in my life.
Yeah.
John Chu was so lovely to me, and Aubrey Peoples, who played Jerick and Jem, was lovely, and Stephanie Scott and Haley Kiyoko and all the girls, they were beautiful. They were in it, and they're so talented, and I was really rooting for them. So it was just the most awkward position to be in. Like, how can I jump on this hate train when they've been so kind and they've worked so hard? But yet I love the Jem fans, and I understand it. I talk about like having to be two different people. It was tough.
You were living that moment.
I was. I didn't. Yeah. You can't please everybody, right? I mean, I had to be honest and say I thought the movie was very sweet on its own, which I did, and I cared about the girls in the movie. It was lovely that there was a film for kids where they didn't take their clothes off. They were empowered, females trying to do something good in the world, and so all of those elements were there that I loved. But obviously, it wasn't what the Jem fans wanted. So it was very strange.
Yeah,
experience.
I can only imagine that it was a strange experience for everyone. Like it's like that moment of like you think you baked a great cake and then people eat it and they go,
and they're like,
not what I was expecting. You're like, but I spent so much time. I will say I was a little spoiled because before the film was announced, there are some very diehard Jim and the Hologram fans.
Oh, yeah.
And I stumbled across what looked like a pitch video for the movie.
Mm-hmm.
And it had like Katy Perry playing Roxy and and the way that.
Oh, okay. I don't know about that.
Yeah. I'll find it in text. But it was amazing, and it was kind of like that big ensemble movie like Valentine's Day or Love Actually or something like that, where all of these world-renowned musicians were going to play like these iconic characters. Right. And I got so excited. I was like, oh my God, yes, this is the way that you should do it. Yes, it's great. And then I actually told myself, oh, hi Kevin Undergaro from AfterBuzz TV. I see you.
Hi. Hi everybody that's scrolling by. Thanks for tuning in.
we do see you guys.
Yes, we do. Thank you so much.
I did tell myself the other day, I said, you know what? We're in quarantine. I'm going to watch the movie since I do see that it's on Netflix. I'm going to watch it because I feel like I just owe it to myself now. There
are some Easter eggs for the originals. I mean, there are things that will go by and you'll be like, oh, okay, But just, you know what? Actually, I often tell the fans this because people were like, hey, this ruined my childhood. And my answer to that is that it's like a Jem multiverse. So we have the Jem comic books. We have the original. We will always have the original. That's not going anywhere. We have the Jem comic book series. We have the Jem doll universe. The Jem fans that love the Jem fashion. That's a whole arc there of the Jem universe. We've got Jizz, which is like Jem After Dark on YouTube. We love Jizz. We've got oh my gosh, there's so many. It's like a Jem multiverse. There's the Jem movie. There's the Jem fan film. I don't know if you guys saw that. If you guys haven't seen the Jem fan film, the Truly Outrageous Jem fan film, it's fantastic. There's a misfit-sized Gem fan film. They're working on the second one as we speak. They're out of Spain, and so there's so much homage to it. It can live there, you know. And I have to say, when I was at the screening, there were a bunch of like 9-year-old kids, like little kids there. They loved it. They loved it. And so what I was hoping was that they, by loving this new film, they would delve back into the origin material. You know? But it is what it is, right?
and you know, it's like Netflix redid She-Ra, Princess of Power, and you know what? We have to realize that we have our She-Ra, and now there's this newly imagined She-Ra. Yeah, and so and both can exist. You know, I don't have to give up my She-Ra, and this generation doesn't have to give up theirs, but we can appreciate each other.
Yeah, there's room for it all. It's what I mean. God, there's so much content today. It makes, like, I go to Comic Cons and I have to ask half of the fans that come up, what's your costume? Because literally, if I watched every anime show, every movie that came out, I would never get anything done. So there is a plethora of, you know, pick your sugar. What do you want? It's all out there. And if some fans, there are a lot of fans that really loved the movie. They enjoyed it. So it's there for them. And with something for everybody, you know?
Exactly.
I know that sounds very Pollyanna, but...
No, a lot of fans in the comments said, watch it with an open mind. And I promise that I promise that I will.
Hi, Carissa. Hi, Carissa. Boo Carissa, she's so lovely. She has cosplayed Gem. When she's able to come and see me at a show, she puts together the most epic Gem cosplay. She's fantastic.
Which I'm glad you mentioned that, because that leads me to my next question. With so many Comic-Con conventions that you do and the cosplay that people do, how does it feel to like see like, you know, a Gem cosplay or a Jericho cosplay or the group, the Holograms, you know, and like how does that make you feel to
it's
see?
Amazing. It's weird. It's like a feeling of it's humbling, you know, even though Gem is not just me. Gem is something that I am so blessed to be a part of. I'm a component of this incredible show. But yeah, it brings me joy. It really does. When people take the time to do and I've seen some incredible cosplay, Gem cosplay. Actually, the last show I did, C2E2 in Chicago, the Misfits, they were hilarious and they were in full-on character. Like, they walked past my table and they were like, "Oh, hi, Gem." I just took off. I was like, wait, come back here, you know. I'm like, don't kick my table over, though, you know.
Right.
How come we don't have a table?
Don't crash them and thrash them.
Exactly. Oh my God, it's great. It's lovely. The Comic-Con world is something that I never even knew existed, and it's, oh my God, it's so much fun. It's joyful. It really is. Everybody's just going to play and invent their fun best selves, you know, express themselves, and it's so cool. Yeah.
What was the energy like in the room when you guys would record an episode? What was it? Walk us through like a day of just coming in and shooting the episode. Like what was it like? What was that experience?
So you probably get to the studio around 1:00 in the afternoon, and we go into the conference room where we would get our storyboards and our scripts. And basically the storyboards were the visual action of the scenes. So you would know how to approach your line. Like if you were saying, "Rio, come back here," you know, is Rio walking out? Are you sitting in a chair and Rio's walking out the door and you're like, "Rio, come on, come back here"? Or is Rio like running away and you're like, "Rio, come back here"? Yeah. So you need to know this kind of thing. So we get the storyboards, and then you could make your notes on the script and be like, running up a hill, or pensive, or quiet, or like whatever whatever direction Wally would come up with the director, or you would interpret. And yeah, so we did that, and you highlight your lines, obviously. And then I was in a lot of scenes, obviously.
Yeah.
Either as Jem or Jerica. So usually it was one person sharing a mic with me, because you'd have to jump back and then let the other person go. So Patricia and I were in a lot of scenes. Well, the Holograms and I were. Yeah, it was mostly the Holograms, and then the Misfits. So so when you weren't recording, you go sit out in this little room, and they had a speaker, because this was the 80s, and we didn't have like the fancy like video set up. So it was like a little speaker in the corner of the room, and you could hear what was being recorded, and you'd have to pay attention to when your scene was coming up. So like the Misfits would be in there for 20 minutes doing their thing, and you'd be like, okay, I'm in the next scene. Okay, they're done. Like, get up, go in there. We have to be cognizant of that. There was a lot of laughter, a lot of shenanigans between Pizzazz and Eric Raymond. Just watching the other actors work, and I was a kid, so I was like, I didn't know what you could get away with and what you couldn't, and so it was so much fun watching everybody work and just being a part of it. And Patricia was known for her crazy expletives. When she would flub a line, she would just like go off, and I was like, you could do that? Like, this is a professional job. But like, there was a lot of fun and laughter, and then there was a lot of Wally Bird wrangling everybody in, because time is money. Just like I felt like I was a sponge, and I was just trying to learn as much as I could watching everybody work. I mean, what an incredible opportunity to have been given to learn about the craft. Obviously, I got booked for my talent, but as far as experience, I was a newbie. I really was. So it was amazing to have been trusted with the lead in a show like that. Like, it still blows me away. It's kind of incredible. Yeah. I'm very grateful. Yeah.
If you could sum up your experience in a Jem-like song, what would the title of it be?
In a Jem-like song?
Yeah.
Well, some of my own music, because I love pop music.
Mm-hmm.
Not that my songs are like Jem songs, but I very much believe in the archetype of Jem that is just believes in trying to rally everybody for a common good. Mm-hmm. So people drop their own stuff, and you can actually be there for each other, and just all of those principles that Jem embodied that I love. I have a song on my second album called Something Good, Gotta Believe in Something Good. And that is so quintessentially, I feel, like what Jem stands for. She's the optimist. And you got to believe in something good. You got to like have something to dream toward. Otherwise, what's the point, Yeah. So if I could sum it up in a song, that's the one that comes to mind. I'm sure there are many more. It's not a Jem song, but it's my song.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And speaking of your songs, you do have albums out that people can listen to. Are you on all of the streaming services?
Yes, everywhere. Yes, iTunes and Spotify and all of that. And then I've got my music available on my official website. I have pink vinyl, which I had to do. I wanted to do vinyl so bad. I hadn't had a vinyl record since I was like in choir in 12th grade, in like 9th grade, where you sing in choir and then make a vinyl. This is way back in the day. Yeah, and I was like, I want to do vinyl. And I remember my producer was like, don't do vinyl. Nobody likes vinyl. I'm like, no, I know the Jem fans. They would love this. And I'm going to do pink vinyl. And I had this whole thing in my head. And I can't even believe I pulled it off, because it was a lot. It was a lot to do. But it's fabulous. It's fabulous. So I'm super excited. Yeah.
Were there ever, because there's so many cartoons that did get a reboot from that time. Were there ever any talks of a reboot of Jem and the Holograms at one point?
I think there may have been, but it's so strange with Jem. I always feel like I'm the last to know. Yeah. The fans are always like, "Did you hear?" I'm like, "No, didn't. Thank you for telling me. Like, I don't know. They seem to be in the know. There are some diehard, you know, I mean, obviously there are millions of Gem fans, but there are like hardcore Gem fans, which they like. I remember going to Gem Con back in the day. It's a convention entirely dedicated to Gem, and they had this trivia game with little bells on tables, and it was like, so what color were Aja's shoes in episode 16? And people are like hitting the bell, and I'm like, what? How do you know all this?
How do you remember that?
How do you know? And they're like, oh, we know everything about Gem, and it's so lovely. So I just went off on a tangent. I tend to do that, but I don't know anything about Gem reboots. I've heard rumors, but nothing. Hasbro keeps everything really close, so they're not going to tell me anything, that's for sure. Even though I'm really good at keeping a secret.
Yeah, of course. What is it now that, you know, it's been so long since you know, the shooting of Gem and everything like that, but now, you know, the spirit of Gem and the Holograms and the show lives on in these conventions and things like that.
Yeah.
What is it like when the group gets back together? Like, if you and Britta are at a Gem Con convention, like, you know, what is it like when you guys get together here?
It's surreal. It's amazing. Yeah, we actually, not to bring it down, but we lost Patricia, who played Pizzazz this year, Christmas Day. But Patricia and I did a lot of shows together over the years, and she was so funny. She was like, I have fans? I'm like, oh my gosh, Patricia, the fans love you. Like, you're Pizzazz. Are you kidding?
Yeah.
You're freaking Pizzazz. Like, she was so cute. She was like, what? You know, so I remember I was like helping her get her. She's like, I don't know what to bring to shows. And I'm like, I gotcha, girl.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah, because I'd been doing them for a little while. And yeah, I've slowly over the years gotten to reacquaint myself with everybody. Wally Burr, we lost Wally a couple of years ago, but I remember saw Wally again at the 2008 Gem Con in California, which was just so lovely. I got pictures with him, and he was as wonderful as I remember, and got to see Sue Blue at a BotCon convention, because I was also on Transformers, so I was at a Transformers convention. I hadn't seen her in 25 years. It was like, what? Yeah, it's surreal. It's I've loved that part.
Yeah, I can only imagine it's always like one big high school reunion again, like every time you guys see each other.
Yes, I have not seen Charlie Adler, though. I think we've been at the same shows, but we haven't been able to get to each other because we've been too busy, and it just is what it is. But yeah, I haven't seen Charlie Adler, and I haven't seen Maureen Aragon, who was Synergy, because she very, very rarely does anything like that. So I haven't seen her, but Samantha Paris, who was Bobby Block, Michael Sheehan, Rio, Townsend Coleman. I've been at shows with him, but we haven't seen each other. He's Riot, so yeah.
Which, by the way, I have to find the picture and I'll send it to you.
Okay.
One year, my Halloween costume was inspired by Riot.
Love Riot.
Yeah.
It's so good. Oh my God, you have to send me the picture.
I wanted the big hair, but I didn't get it. But I had this like cool like jacket and leather and and I was like, I want to be Riot.
Yes, Riot is awesome. People are always like, so is Jerica team Riot, or who do you think she'd end up with? And I used to think it was real, but now I think that she would have gone for Team Riot.
You know, Riot had a bit of an edge to him. You know, but how funny is that? It's a tale as old as time. It's like Sex in the City with Big and 80.
With Big, the bad boy.
They always go with the bad boy.
Yeah.
Always.
I know.
So, what's next for you? I know that you have music that's out that they can find on all streaming services and on your official website. But what else would Samantha like to do?
So it is the 35th anniversary of Gem this year, and obviously with this quarantine, all my shows got canceled, like 10 shows. So it's been like a little crazy because I had a few wonderful things planned for the 35th anniversary, which may happen later in the year. So we'll just have to see how things go. But I'm in the middle of doing remixes. They're almost all done. I think I'm short 3. So I've got some wonderful people working on remixes for Hologram. And I'd love to have a record release party. And also I'm setting up a voiceover booth in my house. We're making one. So I'm excited to get on board with that again, because I go through phases of like I moved to Texas. I toured with a Pink Floyd tribute act and played the House of Blues venues for 3 years. It was amazing. And then like my life has just gone in all of these, you know, because I sing and I love voiceover. And so you just never know where it's going to take you. You know, if an opportunity is wonderful, then I'll jump on it. But yeah, as far as a project right now, it's the remix project because I want to have something out by this year. So
good.
Yeah.
I just thought of how cool it would be if we're still in this for a little bit.
Yeah.
For the remaining cast to get together and do like a Zoom and like watch either the Truly Outrageous movie or like different episodes of Jim with the cast
commentary.
Yeah.
Oh my God, what a great idea.
That could be a thing.
That's a cool idea. Okay. Thank you for that.
Just
I know we're having to.
Right back here.
Yes, we're having to think out of the box now. It's so weird. It's weird, but but you know, we're smart little humans, and we'll figure stuff out. There are ways you can't go through the front door. We'll figure it out. So thank you for that. That's a really fun idea. Yeah.
One more question, but before we head out, and I meant to ask this earlier, but I'm going to ask it now that I remember.
Yeah.
Seeing the first episode of Jim and the Holograms, do you remember how you felt? Like knowing all the work that got put into it and all the components that go into it.
Yeah.
Now being able to watch it.
Yeah.
What were your thoughts and feelings?
I remember being in my purple apartment, which Jem had availed me. I painted it like light purple. It was like a music box. It was so pretty. And I got up early because if you didn't get up at like 7 a.m. to see it, you missed it. It's not like, I'll just DVR it, you know?
Yeah.
No, we didn't have that luxury. So I had to like get up. I didn't like getting up early in the morning, you know, who does? So, but I made myself one morning, and I just remember seeing the theme song with the animation and the music, and I got chills. I still get chills when I think about it. I was like, like I didn't realize how amazing when it all came together, how truly outrageous it would be. And, you know, you go in and you do your work, but there's no real way to know what the music is going to look like and what sound like and the animation's going to look like. Like we didn't know until it was actually on the screen, and I was so excited when I saw it. I was so excited. Yeah, I was like, I can't believe we're a part of this. It's so fun.
Oh my gosh. I'll never forget the feeling that I got when I first, because I think I watched the movie, the Truly Outrageous movie first. And it wasn't until I got the DVDs that I was like, oh, they're episodes.
They're episodes, exactly.
Put together. And I just remember like just feeling so like attached to it, and like I loved it, and I loved the music, and you know I love the stories, and I love you know, Greta and Riot and just all the things that, you know, I felt like I was, you know, trying to figure out with Jim and Jerica, Rio or not Rio, and how do you keep the secret, and overall watch out, and you know, time for a hologram, you know.
And then you have to wait a week to see, like, tune in next week to see what happens with Jim. Jim is Rock and Roasters hanging off the edge of a cliff. Like, oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
You said that, and I still remember that line. Where it was after the talent show, and the Misfits had taken the instruments and they went after them, and she did a hologram, and she said, Rio, the Rocky Roaster is hanging over the cliff.
Hanging on the edge of a cliff.
Like, it's so weird
This
how
way.
you said that line, and it just takes you back.
Just all came back to you because it's your childhood. That's so fun.
It is.
So
oh, my
fun.
God.
I'm secretly jealous in a weird way that I wasn't a kid that got to experience Gem, because I've always loved music and everything that made Gem so wonderful. I think as a little kid, I'd have been like, Gem's on TV. I would have loved it. So, but obviously it's really fun to be Gem and Jerica, so I can't complain.
Well, listen, as an adult, it's still the same film.
Yay. That's good, and we need that right now, right?
We do.
Let's like remember a time when there was less stress and less worry, and I think that's I think Gem is a wonderful distraction from some of the crazy. Like, turn off the news and watch something happy, and remember that we will come out of this, and it will be fine. And you know, and try and have a little bit of joy and distraction in the midst of this, you know. Because we don't always have to be grown up. You know? Yeah,
this is true. Sometimes it's good to not grow up for a second.
Sometimes it is. Yeah, let's revisit a little bit, you know.
Yeah. Oh, well, Samantha, thank you so much for
it's so good to see. I haven't seen you in a really long time. So when I make it to LA, which I was going to, but that's been canceled. But when I am able to come back, we'll hang out.
Yes, we will.
Thank you for the invite, Tony.
Of course, and let me know when you're back. We'll either grab lunch or dinner, and we'll definitely take in the drag show.
Yes, and maybe Morgan will be at Mickey's, and we can go support her because she's fabulous. I love Morgan Michaels. Yeah, for
sure.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. You're so sweet. Hey, everybody.
All right, we'll talk soon.
Okay.
All right. Bye.
Bye.
Oh my gosh, that was so good. Just being able to talk to someone that, like, Jim and the Holograms was one of the cartoons that defined my childhood, and it was just great to kind of be able to reminisce about that time with Samantha, and just talking to the original voice of Jim, and Jerica Benton was so great. So you guys, make sure you guys support her. Go take a listen to all of her music. It's all on all the available streaming services, and it's on her website, SamanthaNewark.com. You can also follow her on Instagram, Samantha Newark Official. And this has been another great episode of Tell Me More with me, Tony Moore. We'll see you guys back here on Monday. Enjoy your weekend. Bye, everyone. Oh, and don't forget, go to my YouTube channel at Lounging with Tony to find all of my episodes of Tell Me More with me, Tony Moore. All right. Have a great weekend, everyone. Bye.